DocTalk is brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, Sure Trace Mineral Supplementation by Timed Injection.
Hi there folks, welcome to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here. Great to have you with us today. My guest is going to be Dr. Dave Rethorst, and we're going to talk about OB issues in the cow herd. Lots of times, calving season coming up, things that we need to know, things that we need to be watching out for. It's bound to be a great show, and we're tickled to death that you joined us today. So stay tuned for the show.
We're cow-calf producers from northeast Colorado. We run about 300 commercial cows and calves and sell them at the sale barn in October.
Since we've been given multi-min, our reproduction rate is about 95%, which is pretty good for grassland, and we run bulls and we do not AI.
That means an extra 15 calves at sale time. We've been using the multi-min product for 3 years. We are really happy with it and recommend it to anybody in this business.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value. This segment is brought to you by Rotomix, manufactured in the USA and designed for feeding performance in the feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations.
Hi there folks, welcome to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and my guest is Dr. Dave Rethorst, who is a veterinarian, and he's the Director of Outreach here at the Beef Cattle Institute at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and we're going to be talking about OB issues in the cow herd. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here, Dan. Always a pleasure.
Dr. Dave, you spend a little bit of time on the back end of a cow, and you spend a little bit of time with OB work.
Yes, absolutely. In just a few decades on the back end of a cow, and about that many worrying about getting those calves out when it came time.
That's right. And so you've seen a lot of changes. And what are some of those changes you've seen, throughout your practice time, as far as not so much the OB issues, but, has there been an increase, a decrease? Producers doing a lot more of it on their own. What are some of the things you've seen?
Well, we have more producers doing it on their own, but the big issue is we're having smaller birth weight calves now. It's amazing what birth weight EPDs have done for our OBs. The last 5 years I practiced, I slept a lot more nights all night long than I did the first 5 years I practiced.
Absolutely. And so, as we talk about animal welfare and different things like that, that's one of those stories.
Right.
That we don't capture as an animal welfare story within the beef industry. We chalk it up to we're smarter producers and veterinarians, and we're doing the right things for the cows because that's what we do every day. But it's really a kind of a cool story.
It absolutely is. And when I do animal welfare talks, I talk about that animal welfare is getting that calf out at 2 o'clock in the morning and making sure the calf's alive and the heifer gets up and walks away. But with these lower birth EPD bulls, these calves come out a whole lot easier. It's easier on the heifer, and we have better survivability, and the cow's in a lot better shape.
Well, we're going to get into talking a little bit about some of the problems we see with OBs, but one of the things I think is really important for people to kind of understand is what's normal parturition like, or normal birthing.
Okay, well, we're all familiar with whether it be a heifer or a cow, either one bagging up several days before they're going to calve, and a lot of times a heifer will actually bag up and go back down several times before she calves, but they bag up, that they spring, that vulva loosens up, and then actually the first stage of parturition itself is that cervix dilates. And it's the water bag that's dilating that cervix. So the cervix dilates, then the water bag comes out. The water bag coming out is the second stage, and then the third stage is actually the fetus being delivered.
The expulsion of the calf.
Right.
Yep. So we got 3 stages. All of them play an important role and have different behaviors. When we come back from the break, I want to kind of get into what are some of the things that you see with behaviors in cows, some of the things for producers to be watching, and then we'll also talk about when things start to go a little bit awry and when we got to intervene.
Okay, sounds great.
But like I say, important material. Glad to have you with us. Right after the break, come back more with Dr. Dave Rethorst.
This segment was brought to you by Brute Cattle Equipment, makers of the Brute Stealth Hydraulic Chute. If the chute fits, swear by it. Visit our website for more information.
You know, I think people are just kind of born with a passion.
I wouldn't be where I am today without that horse.
Oh, I'm not passionate about horses. That's just something that's in here. I can't explain it.
Some people go to a job every day. I just go do what I love to do. That's all I know is horse.
The bottom line, we're for the horse. It's whatever we can do to make life better for the horse, wherever they are, whatever they do.
They're just magic, that's all. They got me.
If we always do what's right for the horse, we will never go wrong.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas, or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Beef producers need a practical choice when antibiotic therapy is required. More than ever, they are reaching for non-prescription Noromycin 300LA from Norbrook. Specially formulated to produce sustained antibiotic blood levels up to 4 days in cattle, Noromycin 300LA delivers economic, broad-spectrum disease management for pneumonia, shipping fever, pink eye, wound infections, and foot rot. See for yourself why Norbrook's Noromycin 300LA is the practical choice for your herd.
Got cattle? Rotomix manufactures a complete line of energy-efficient rotary and vertical feed mixers for feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations. Our mixers are available with the patented Generation 2 staggered rotor, the industry standard for feeding wet rations that include wet distiller's grain. Made in the USA, Rotomix mixers are designed for feeding performance that American cattlemen and dairy producers have come to expect. Rotomix, proud to offer a better mix in less time using less fuel.
In the springtime, cattlemen need to be thinking of preventing important diseases like pinkeye. Pinkeye prevention includes management factors like good fly control, pasture management, along with a good vaccination program. Eyesight from AgriLabs has broad efficacy coverage as its origin from 8 different field isolates of Moraxella bovis. It is safe, smooth, highly syringeable, safe with young calves and pregnant cows, and provides superior protection against pinkeye.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by Norbrook Laboratories, manufacturers of Noromycin LA, Normectin Plus, 1%, and Poron, the practical choice for your herd. Hi there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Dave Rethorst, and we're going to be talking today about OB issues in the beef herd. And Dr. Dave, when you left, we were talking about cervix dilating, talking about water bag presentation, and then expulsion of the calf as far as the 3. So kind of walk me through what's that cow going to be doing? What's she going to be, She going to be acting normal? She going to start to act different? How do I know that some of this is happening?
Well, first off, about just before that water bag comes out, most of these cows will go off by themselves. They'll isolate themselves, try to find some place out of the wind, kind of nest up a little bit, if you will, and then that's the first sign that calving is imminent. And then once that water bag comes out, usually in a matter of just an hour or 2, that will break. And what's really critical is we talk about intervention, and when do we have problems, when do we want to intervene, and the rule of thumb I always used was that on a heifer, if she's not progressing in an hour and a half to 2 hours after that water bag breaks,
Better be checking.
we better be checking. On a cow, we can go a little quicker. You know, cows calve before, you know, if that water bag breaks and you're not seeing progress in an hour, there's probably something wrong.
Gotcha. So, you know, they go off by themselves. We need to get out there and check them. You know, what would it mean that things are normal? Foot sticking out?
Yeah, you
Up,
want to
down, moving?
normal presentation, we'd see 2 feet coming right side up. And if you see 2 feet coming right side up, you should see a nose peeking out of that vulva in pretty short order.
Okay.
You know, if you've got feet upside down, probably got a backwards calf.
Yep.
But in a lot of cows will calve unassisted with backwards calves.
Sure. Sure.
Because there's a difference between the backwards calf and a full breech.
Right.
And, you know, full breech, you're getting tail first, and
that's what I was going to say. When you see a tail,
it's time to
you better get on it.
Get on it. Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of those, about some of the more common issues that you run into when you know, if a cow's not progressing. Malposition, your biggest one?
Malposition's the biggest one. You know, with usually a foot back, or actually the most common one is just what I call an elbow lock. You'll have one foot out like this and then the other one back like this, and that nose will be laying right in here, and what's causing the problems is this elbow on this leg over here, and you just have to get in there and pop that one past the pelvis, and then you can go ahead and deliver that calf. You know, some of them you'll have a leg clear back, but
for the most part, not.
Most part, not.
Well, when we come back after the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the most common problems that you run into, and size and different things to that matter. But sure enjoy having you be here.
Great to be here.
And we're glad to have you with us. After the break, we're going to come back, talk more about malpositioning and size of calf and OB issues in the cow herd. You're watching DocTalk, and we're thankful that you joined us.
Join the team, the Beef Quality Assurance Team. Getting BQA certified shows you're committed to practices that produce the highest quality beef in the world. And by visiting BQA.org, you can take the online certification course at a time that fits your schedule and from the comfort of your home or office. You'll also find lots of helpful tips on improving animal health and animal handling practices. Get certified, BQA certified, because it's about doing the right thing. Visit BQA.org today and become a member of the BQA team.
Cow-calf, stocker, and feedlot producers know that effective parasite control improves overall herd performance and profitability. Norbrook offers a comprehensive, economical line of pour-on and injectable parasiticides for every livestock operation. Consult with your local animal health supplier to set up a program that protects your investment and brings larger cattle checks this fall. See for yourself why the Noromectin line from Norbrook is the practical choice for your herd.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
In this particular area of central Montana, we are a little copper deficient, and with the use of multi-min, I've noticed in our hair coats of the cattle don't have that red color like they normally do with copper deficiency. We've seen less sickness in the calves when we give our calves shots at weaning. Calves seem to wean off better. We've had less foot rot in the calves after weaning. Those are the big benefits we've seen by using the product.
TrueTest Group, weighing systems, electronic identification, EID, electric fencing, and dairy automation systems help farmers and ranchers around the world manage the performance of their livestock for ultimate profitability.
Hey, welcome back to DocTalk. It's Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Dave Rethorst. And Dr. Dave, we're talking about common problems or problems at OB, and we talked about the elbow lock, we've talked about a leg back. You know, let's talk a little bit about breech.
Okay. You know, and a lot of people confuse a backwards calf with a breech calf. You know, I alluded to that a minute ago, that our backwards calf, those feet will be coming out, but they're upside down. And, you know, something like 20% of cows will actually calve backwards, but they'll calve on their own. Where we really need to get concerned is, you know, when a cow's been going several hours and absolutely not seeing any progress, or you might see a tail coming out of the vulva, then those back legs the feet are up under that calf.
It's coming butt first.
It's coming butt first. Tail's leading the way. And you just the easiest way to do those is do a spinal block on them and get in there and get those legs up.
And the spinal block, the reason why we do that, it's kind of like an epidural.
Right.
And the reason why we're doing those is because when we do them, the cow will quit straining.
Absolutely. Makes it a whole lot easier.
And it just allows, it's easier on the cow and it's easier on us when we're in there manipulating that calf to get it out. Now, size. You know, that's the one thing that, you know, how did you judge? I mean, I see the size of your hands. I don't know that I want to know exactly, but, you know, how did you teach clients or talk to your clients about when the calf was too big to fit?
Okay. You know, like on a normal presentation with the front feet coming out like this and the head right there, I would tell them to go ahead and put some pressure on, and as long as the calf kept moving
forward, coming
out, they were all right. But if they hit a spot and that calf just locked up and wouldn't move, then they better be calling for help. If you're to the point that the rod on the calf puller's starting to bend, it's time to do something different.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Because we're really worried about two things here. Not only do we want to get a live calf, but too hard of a pull on the cow can cause them to go down too.
And cause them to go down, and we can, you know, tear them up inside, cause infection, they get stressed and they won't milk, and we want them to be a good mom.
Yep. And I've seen increased retained placentas, decrease in milk production, and then the really bad case when you get that obturator nerve paralysis and they go clear down.
Right.
We have no place to go with those animals anymore. If they can't walk off the trailer, they have to be rendered or euthanized.
Euthanized, absolutely.
So, well, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about prevention. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Prevention is the key.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Thank you, folks, for joining us here on DocTalk. When we come back, more with Dr. Dave Rethorst here at Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine.
This segment is brought to you by Lalaman Animal Nutrition, dedicated to the development and production of natural and differential solutions for animal nutrition.
This is Agriculture Today from Kansas State University. In the quest to find out more information about the role of what are called beta-agonist products in cattle feedlot operations and finishing rations, K-State veterinarian Dan Thompson, who's been in on quite a bit of the dialogue over beta-agonists.
We've seen this in other species. The swine industry 15, 20 years ago discovered this fatigue pig syndrome, and that's kind of what we've called it now. Fatigue cattle syndrome is what we're calling the syndrome that we see as far as these cattle at the plant that are slow moving. We have to understand that when we have seen the issues with cattle with this fatigue cattle syndrome at packing facilities, it's during the summer months where we have heat stress.
This is K-State Research and Extension.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America, a place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman and Colorado Rancher. Join me each week as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association brings you the latest updates in industry information and market news. Plus, each week we provide important educational information and features on cattlemen from across the country just like you. And we can't forget our favorite cowboy poet, Baxter Black. Join me for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, debuting Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, right here on RFD TV.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Doc Talk. We're talking today with Dr. Dave Rethorst. And it's been a great show talking about OB issues in the cow herd and things that can go wrong and things that can go right and how we kind of gauge the difference between the two. And now we're going to talk about prevention, which is the key in all of this. Some things we can't prevent, but there are a lot of things that we can.
Absolutely.
So let's just start out with what's your number one.
Okay, well, is keeping that calf small. You know, when I got out of veterinary school 35 years ago, we thought we were tearing the world apart using a pelvimeter and measuring heifers on pelvises, and we did some good with it. You know, and there's a place for that, but the birth weight EPDs have made a tremendous difference in the birth weight of these calves. Most of these low birth EPD bulls are actually short gestation bulls. They're running about 265, 267 days of gestation, so we got a smaller calf coming out. It's easier to get out. It isn't as hard on that heifer. And then on the flip side of that, our growth EPDs are so good that those calves are making up for it. So select a good.
So what are our what would be the birth weight on these low birth weight bulls? What would we be looking at?
Oh, there's a lot of 65, 70-pound calves being born out of these short gestation bulls. They just squirt out.
I mean, that is a small calf.
That is a small calf.
I remember when we were measuring, you know, when you're trying to get under a, 90 and now we're down 65, 70.
Yes.
So it's been a lot of work by a lot of cattle producers.
Absolutely, but it's made a huge difference.
What else are we going to look at? I had scribbled down here that we talked during break. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrition.
You know, and we need to keep these cows in good condition, because if we have a cow, particularly a heifer that's body condition 4, 4.5, they just don't have the strength and stamina to get these calves pushed out. You know, we need some good flesh there. We need a little bit of fat around that pelvis, and we need to have some energy in those. So we need good energy.
Strong cow.
We need a good, strong cow. We need plenty of protein in that cow. You know, we're going to talk later about preventing calf scours, and all that centers around colostrum. But, you know, then the other thing on prevention, we need to think about exercise. We need these cows out walking around some during calving. We don't need them shut up in a little 50 by 50 pen or something. We want them out where those muscles are toned up and they're in shape. It's kind of like an athlete needs to be in shape, and we need to think of that cow as an athlete when it comes calving time.
So not only the proper nutrition for the strength, but turning them out someplace where they can move, where they got to go someplace to get water, get feed, and keep some exercise, kind of keeps them hard.
Right.
Well, it's been a great show and been great to have you here today.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Dan, and it's always a pleasure to talk about cows.
I'm with you, and we're going to do some more, because we're going to come back in the next week's episode. And now once we got the little squirt on the ground, we're going to take care of them.
That sounds like a winner.
All right.
We need to do that.
So we'll talk next week with Dr. Dave about taking care of the baby calf once it hits the ground. Folks, thanks a million for watching Doc Talk Day. I hope you enjoyed the show. Dr. Dave Rethorst and myself, Dr. Dan Thompson. And if you want to know more about what we do here at the College of Veterinary Medicine, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Remember, always work with your local practitioner. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, here from Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. You've been watching DocTalk, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, sure trace mineral supplementation by timed injection,